Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a review of the new SEZANE fall or autumn collection. I always get really excited when they start bringing out their new knitwear and their new jackets and things. It's just such a cozy time of year, and despite the fact that we're sort of transitioning through to spring here in Sydney, I do really like to plan ahead when it comes to my wardrobe, so I'm always thinking about the next season. So I've purchased 6 items from the brand and I thought I would review them, try them on, share them in an outfit. Everything that I talk about today is going to be linked down in the description box below, along with all of my sizing information. And at the end of this video, I will kind of just share a little bit of an overview of the shopping experience, because I have found that it has changed over the years since I first started buying from them. So I'm going to get right into it and start with the very first piece, which is a jacket. I've been so curious about SEZANE jackets, and this one in particular really caught my eye. It's called the Issac Coat, and it's essentially a shacket, but a really thick one, and it feels a lot more substantial than other shackets that I've owned in the past. You have to forgive the changing light, it's very cloudy today. So it's a multicolor plaid check, so there's a lot of colors running through it. The base is like an off-white with a navy, almost black, and then there is bright red, magenta, a mustard yellow, and there's also really beautiful emerald green in there. So I feel like this is a really nice option if you want something in a classic print that feels a bit more modern and updated and fresh, and is also exciting because it's got all these vibrant colors in it. And it's also a great one if you are looking for a more colorful jacket that you can mix and match with loads of different options in your closet, because you can really pair it back to a lot of those base colors in there. Now, in terms of the fabrication of this, the highest fiber content is polyester, followed by wool, and I think there might be viscose in there. There's a few different other fibers, so it's not a 100% wool piece, and I believe the lining is half viscose, half polyester from memory. This one retailed for $340 US, so it is a bit more of a premium price tag, and I have to say overall it actually feels really nice. Like, it's got a bit of texture to the exterior. It's not sort of smooth to the touch, but it does feel kind of really interesting, and I think that lends really nicely to more simple outfits. The interior is not going to be irritating on your skin at all, because it does have that really nice almost silky effect lining from the viscose, and I do like the fact that the lining has this very subtle polka dot. There's this sheen to it which you can really only see when it hits the light ever so slightly. Sizing wise, I got 36, which translates to a US 4 or an Australian size 8, and I would say that it does fit true to size for an oversized or relaxed fit. So you're going to be able to put a really chunky knit underneath this, no problem at all. But overall, I think it's a really nice jacket. I do also like the pockets on the front, kind of feels very workman style. And yeah, this was probably the thing that I was most excited about when I opened up my parcel. So that was the first item that I added to my cart. Next, let's talk through knitwear. And you'll know I tend to have a bit of a rule when it comes to SEZANE knitwear. I've had very poor experiences with their polyamide pieces in the past, mostly that they don't tend to wash very well, and I made it a rule that I wouldn't add any to my cart, but one of them does have a little bit of polyamide. I was really drawn to the actual style of the knit, and I thought I would just order it and see what I thought when it arrived. So I'll talk about that one in a moment, but I wanted to talk about a knit I was so excited to see return. If you've watched my previous SEZANE review videos, then you may have seen this knit in a different colorway. So this is called the James jumper, and it is in the khaki. I previously purchased it in the white and navy stripe, but I just ultimately felt like that wasn't the one for me, and I wanted to hold out to see if this would come back, and I'm so thrilled that it did. So this particular knit retails for $160 US. I got it in the size small, and it's an oversized relaxed fit, and it is 100% merino wool, and it is so soft. It's really snuggly, really cozy, and I really adore the cable knit design all over it. I just think it adds a really nice subtle bit of texture and also dimension, and I think the detail that really kind of cinches it for me is this matte tortoise effect button on the shoulder here, which you can undo. I do actually find that the neck opening is a little bit on the smaller side, so if you've done your hair all nice and then you're about to put this on, you might like to undo a couple of the buttons first, just as it will stop your hair from getting all frizzy, which I know mine is known to do. But honestly, this is just such a beautiful sweater. If you've been thinking about it, I can 100% hand on heart say it is worth it. I think it's really good value for money, and it does come in a few different colors. I saw it on the weekend when I was browsing that they had it in an ecru or off-white creamy color as well, which is very, very nice and lovely if you prefer more simple neutrals, something that is a bit lighter and not so rich in color. Moving on to the second knit that I purchased, this is called the Lucas jumper, and this was the one I was really excited about in terms of the style, because I really love this sort of Henley style that unbuttons in the front, that you can wear either buttoned all the way up or loose, halfway undone. I think it just gives you a few different styling options, and I think it's fun to be able to play with our clothing like that. And I especially loved, again, that matte button, and this is a much lighter tortoise shell, almost a mild kind of effect to the buttons, which is just beautiful. And if there is one thing that I will say that SEZANE does do very well, it is details and attention to detail, and that's really been something that's been visible in all the items that I've bought from them over the years. So this one here I purchased in a size medium, and it was $140 US. The reason why I sized up is because when I was looking at the photos on the model, and this is a common complaint of mine, I always find their model pictures aren't the best at giving you a really good overview of how something fits, that it looked like it was a bit more on the smaller side. So it is a boxy fit, yes, and I'm really glad that I did size up, because I think the medium is what I was after in terms of achieving this very relaxed look, and it doesn't really feel too oversized on me. But I'm 172 centimeters, so if you are petite, you may like to stick to your usual size if you've been thinking about this knit. Now this one is 55% merino. I think it's 25% cotton and then 20% polyamide. So I kind of broke my rule here because there was polyamide in it, but I thought being counterbalanced with cotton and merino that it would be okay. Ultimately, I have to admit that I was a little bit disappointed with how this one feels. You'll probably know if you've watched many of my videos, I'm a little bit of a fabric snob. I really, tactile elements of an item is very important to me, especially how it feels in your hand, because it's going to be against your skin, and I want it to feel a very specific way. And this one to me almost does have a slight acrylic feel to it, which is not what I was after in something like this. So this is definitely one that I will be returning. I do think it's a beautiful knit, and if you're not as fussy as me about fabric, then you'll probably really like this one, though I can't speak to whether or not it will pill. It's very possible that it might, and I also can't speak to whether it's going to wash well, just given my previous experience with their polyamide pieces. But yeah, that is the Lucas jumper, which appears to be sort of their new style for this autumn winter season. Okay, so next on to tops, and the first one that I added to my cart is a classic Mariniere, the Breton striped top. And this one is actually an item I've had on my wish list for a really long time, and I'm so thrilled that I finally purchased it because there are so many great things about this top. So it's called the Noan Mariniere, and it retails for $100 US. This one is 100% cotton, and if I recall correctly from the website, I think it's organic cotton too, which is awesome. I got this in a size small because after reviewing the photos on the site, it looked like it was a really nice relaxed fit, which was what I wanted. And given that it does have a wide neckline, it's a boat style neckline, I felt that the medium might actually be cut a little bit too wide across the collarbones, that it would look a little bit too big for me. So glad I stuck to my usual size. This I think is brilliant because, so you know, when you look at it from the front, it looks just like your basic Breton striped top, but when you turn it to the side, you'll see it has these buttons, these navy enamel coated buttons, which are functional, so you can unbutton them and have a little bit of a layering moment, which I think is very cool. And actually this is a really practical one if you're either pregnant or you're a mum and you are nursing, because the buttons come all the way up the side, so you can very discreetly nurse your baby with this. And also because you can unbutton those buttons, it means that you could wear this throughout your entire pregnancy and it would still cover your bum. You might just have to wear a little singlet underneath. So I thought that was really cool and something I wish that I'd had when I was pregnant with our son. I think it would have come in handy and been something I wore loads. I mean, who doesn't love a good striped top? So ultimately this one has been such a win, and it does come in a few other colors too. I think it comes in a really beautiful camel brown, and I believe there might be either a black or a red, but definitely one worth checking out and adding to cart if you've had your eye on it for a while. The second top that I purchased is called the Lucio top, and this is a silk tank, and it's a very basic silk tank and very loose fit through the body. This one I got in the 36, so equivalent of a US 4 or an AU 8, and I would say that it fits true to size for a relaxed fit. I really like the quality of SEZANE's silk pieces. I think that they are really lovely. This is a beautiful wash silk. I can see when I put it in the light that it is ever so slightly sheer, but because it has such a busy print on it, it's not going to show anything through, so you don't really need to worry about that or be concerned with it. And it has these lovely darts here on the side, which means it's going to fit really nicely around the bust too. This one was $90 US, which I think is really reasonable for a silk piece, especially one that is of this quality. I mean, the seams and everything are all perfect, and the print is really the thing that was very eye-catching to me and that made me want to add this to my wardrobe. I love a classic print like this, and I think it's something that is relatively timeless. And again, SEZANE's leopard prints I think are always really fun, so very thrilled to kind of pick this one up, add it to my wardrobe, and going to have a lot of fun styling it. The final item that I purchased is a skirt, and it's this beautiful leather skirt. This is called the Allison skirt, and it's a mini. It is made from lamb leather and fully lined as well. I think it's a silk or viscose lining, and then it has these large leather covered buttons down the center, and then these patch pockets on the sides, which actually wraps around partially to the back. On the website it said if you were between sizes, which I often am when it comes to shorts, trousers, skirts, so on the SEZANE site, to go with the smaller of the two. So I got this in the 34 as opposed to my usual 36. I think if I was to have my time over again, I would probably get the 36 just because I think that would fit me a lot better. This is very tight. And this one retails for $215 US, which I think is the most incredible price for a leather piece, especially one that is made with this much care and detail and craftsmanship. It really is very well made, and the leather is very thick, and it feels like it will just get incredibly soft the more and more that you wear it. Ultimately, I decided that this is very much not for me. It is way too short, at least too short for me. I feel quite uncomfortable with the length, and also I find it is more of a mid to low rise, so I don't particularly like where the waistband falls on me, and I don't think that that would have been remedied by going up a size. I actually think probably would have made that situation worse, but the quality of it really is just beautiful. I love a leather skirt in the winter time. I think it's such a fun way to add texture to your outfit, but I think ultimately with the skirt, I think it might be a little bit better suited to petites, or if you are taller, someone who really loves a mini skirt and showing off their legs. Now, as mentioned, I did just want to quickly touch on a few things with SEZANE. So first things first, I talked about this before, the photos. I've said this so many times, but the photos are not very helpful when it comes to ultimately determining your size and also being able to understand all the details of an item. Quite often I've purchased things for them to arrive and me to be surprised because there's been a detail on it I did not expect and could not see from the photos. So that's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to mention is the price discrepancy, which is really something that astounds me with the pricing. I find it incredible that you can buy a leather piece for $215 US while similarly buying a polyester piece on their website for $160 US, and that is something that very much confuses me, and I don't really understand their pricing mechanisms. I'm sure that there is some sort of method to it, but it very much does not make sense to me. And so that's the second thing. The third thing I wanted to talk about was shipping. I do find that when they launch a new collection that it can take up to a week for your items to ship out, so feels like you are waiting forever, unlike most stores which will ship your items within kind of 2 business days. So that's the next thing. However, with DHL it's generally pretty quick arrival, and when you have shopped there multiple times they tend to give you free delivery, which is great. Returns from Australia are now free, which is very convenient, so if you have made a purchase and it doesn't work out for you, or you know, you're not sure and you're taking a gamble, then you do have that peace of mind that you can return your item free of charge. However, it can take a really long time for your return to be processed. So do keep that in mind. I imagine they're probably processing quite a lot at their warehouses, which is affecting the turnaround time, but just something to be aware of when you are making a purchase. And the final thing I wanted to mention is that I'm still finding a lot of the time when I do buy things from SEZANE is being spritzed with the perfume. I personally don't like that fragrance, and I find it to be quite kind of pungent and overwhelming, and it makes me want to leave items out for a while before I try them on, so that the scent can sort of dissipate. So something to mention, I know a lot of people love it, and that's great if you do, but I'm in the other camp. I'm in the camp that doesn't. So that was a look at some of the items that I've purchased from the SEZANE pre-fall collection, and just my thoughts on them as well. I'd love to know which pieces you would be keeping if these were what you had bought, what you think, if you're buying anything from the new collection and what you have your eye on. Probably all know by now just how much I love the transitional season. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, for spending some of your day with me. I really do hope you found this helpful, and if you're new here and want to see more videos like this from me, then I would love to have you back. So please do hit the subscribe button. I will see you next time with a brand new video. See you soon. Bye.